Over countless years, the ever-shifting sands of the Sahara have buried countless species, as well as countless humans and whole towns. It's the world's biggest scorching desert, and being lost on its sandy plains may mean never being found again. Whole armies disappeared after marching through it in ancient times. Only now, with the help of modern technology, are we starting to unravel all of the secrets that lie within the Sahara. We have got you the most mysterious discoveries only on the Earth Mysteries. So without any delay, let's get into the video. Let's talk about the last one first. 10. Disappeared strongholds. With the help of satellites, explorers may now see into the depths of the harshest deserts and the heart of the densest jungles without ever having to leave their comfortable living rooms. More than 100 garrison towns once occupied by the Garamants of Libya were spotted by satellite in 2010. Since the region had been extensively surveyed by the oil industry in search of drilling sites, archaeologists were able to examine satellite images to look for traces of walls. Though their explorations were cut short by the revolution in Libya that deposed Colonel Gaddafi, later studies on the ground confirmed that the buildings were created by the Garamantes. The region the Garamantes called home was already extremely dry at the time of their peak prosperity. They dug underground canals to carry water from old reservoirs to their farms. When this water supply dried up, crops died, and Sahara sands buried entire towns and strongholds. 9. Craters and meteorites. Space objects and meteorites have always hit Earth. Most burn up in the atmosphere, leaving only a faint track. Others land and cause damage. Erosion or plant growth often hide craters caused by ancient impacts because they are so old. Scars remain in deserts. The 148-foot-wide Camille crater in southwestern Egypt shows where an iron meteorite impacted 5,000 years ago. Not just meteorite craters are visible. Around Camille crater, meteorite pieces dispersed by the impact have been found. This isn't a unique finding. A quarter of retrieved meteorites come from the Sahara. Meteorites stand out on the dunes, ready to be picked up. Meteorite hunting is best in Antarctica. 8. Glass from the Libyan desert. There may be additional signs of cosmic impacts even after meteorites and craters have disappeared. A meteorite smashed into Earth with enough force around 29 million years ago to turn a large section of the Libyan desert into exquisite green glass. It is yet to be determined where the crater caused by this explosion is located, but there is still plenty of desert glass about, sometimes in somewhat unusual locations. Tutankhamun's jeweled breastplate, or pectoral, was among the artifacts unearthed by Howard Carter when he uncovered the tomb. A scarab beetle, revered in ancient Egypt, was cut from green glass and placed in its center, even though the Egyptians likely didn't know where the glass they used came from. One remarkable piece was created using a substance that could only have come from another planet. The iron used to forge one of the daggers in the tomb originated from a meteorite. 7. The Napta stones. Life in a desert only persists in places where there is a steady supply of water. In 6000 BC, when humans were residing in the region around Napta Playa in southern Egypt, the area was prone to regular floods that resulted in the formation of a lake. They brought their animals there to graze and drink during the Neolithic era. These folks not only made it but also forged a unique culture based on selflessness and giving back to the community. Ritual burials of cattle, sheep, and goats have been uncovered in that area. Large stone blocks were arranged in a circle at Napta some 6,000 years ago, with additional slabs of granite spreading outward from the center. For illustration purposes, a prototype is shown up top. This stone circle is said to be the first astronomically aligned construction, even older than Stonehenge by 1,000 years. While the circle's true orientation remains unknown, at least one scholar believes it points to Orion's belt, as it would have looked in the sky around the year 6000. 6. Lost River. Indeed, the Sahara Desert did not always occupy its present location. Through millions of years of climatic change, the dune's edges have altered. Researchers have turned their focus to the Sahara's past in the same way that they have looked for traces of water on Mars. According to studies, the Sahara was formerly the source of water for the world's 12th biggest drainage basin. An underwater canyon off the coast of Mauritania was revealed to have been formed by the river, drawing attention to the river's ruins. Sediments from rivers were also discovered in unusual locations. Satellite imagery provided the final piece of evidence that a long-lost river indeed existed. Tamanrasset River is the current name for the once-lost river, and scientists want to learn more about its possible disappearance from the Earth only a few thousand years ago. 5. Whales. The Sahara has swallowed rivers too. Once an ocean, it's now one of Earth's driest locations. Egypt's Wadi al-Hitan contains traces of the Tethys Ocean. Whale Valley is an unexpected place to find whale fossils. These fossils show how whales evolved from land dwellers to mariners. When whale ancestors died 37 million years ago, silt buried their bodies. Their old abode became land when the Earth's crust lifted. Paleontologists are studying the 15-meter-long skeletons and the species they lived with. Shark teeth have been found among whale bones. 4. The Big T-Rex. Monsters have long inhabited the oceans. A 9-meter-long, 30-foot-long crocodile named Machimosaurus rex called the area that is now the Sahara Desert home around 120 million years ago. As far as we know, M. rex was the biggest crocodile ever to live in the water. The large lagoon that reached out to the Tethys Ocean was likely the habitat of M. rex. There, it cracked the shells of sea turtles with its enormous head and extraordinary biting strength, and snatched fish with its short, deadly fangs. Perhaps it also ate the flesh of the larger animals that lived in the area. A lot of aquatic life has been discovered in the Sahara, which may seem counterintuitive given the desert's reputation for being lifeless. Scientists may frequently just walk into eroding regions and pick up incredible finds, as there are no plants or dirt to get in the way. 3. Spinosaurus. Spinosaurus is the biggest known carnivorous dinosaur. Spinosaurus aegyptiacus lived 95 million years ago and was taller and longer than T-Rex. Spinosaurus was unlike its opponent. Spinosaurus had a bone sail on its back and other bizarre adaptations. Spinosaurus is the only semi-aquatic dinosaur known. Since the original Spinosaurus fossils were destroyed in World War II, experts couldn't study the dinosaur until remains were found in Morocco. Long, flat feet for paddling and large nostrils on its head suggest Spinosaurus lived partially in water. The large sail on its back must have chilled ancient waterway occupants, as a shark's fin does now. 2. Second World War. P-40 fighter planes. The P-40 Kitty Hawk. Dennis Copping was en route to a British base in the desert on June 28, 1942, piloting a damaged P-40 Kitty Hawk. The plane and its teenage pilot vanished during the flight. A worker in the oil industry came upon the wreckage of a plane in 2012. The plane appeared to have been left alone for quite some time since it was in remarkably good condition, and there were still remnants of a parachute that had been used to make a makeshift shelter. Later, the plane was sent to the El Alamein Museum, where it was refurbished, but not to everyone's liking. Some others thought it was disrespectful to the young pilot to move the plane from its original location. Others said the museum's renovation turned it into a badly painted replica. The plane was discovered, but Dennis Copping was nowhere to be found. Just what happened to him is another secret the desert of the Sahara is keeping. 1. Skeleton from Gobero. For the second time, Paul Sereno. He was among those who unearthed new Spinosaurus fossils. He discovered the greatest human burial in the Sahara Desert while out looking for dinosaurs. Gobo in Niger was occupied as early as around 10,000 years ago, and archaeological evidence indicates that the area was much greener and lusher back then. Human remains are interspersed with those of fish, crocodiles, and other creatures. Quite a few of the finds were barely visible above the sand. About 200 human burials were uncovered over 2 years of digging, indicating that the area was occupied twice, each time more than 1,000 years apart. Both the Kiphians and the Tenerian civilizations have left behind physical evidence of their existence. Harpoons and other bone ornamentation, perhaps employed for fishing or hunting in the area's seas, were also found. There were a lot of very weird graves. Both men were laid to rest on the shell of a turtle that had been broken in half. Maybe we'll never know the full story of their lives and deaths. When it comes to handing up its secrets, the Sahara is not cooperating. That's for the video. We will be back with more such fascinating discoveries. All you have to do is press that like button and don't forget to subscribe.